Hello, everybody, and welcome to Money Matters. If you enjoy making money and learning about crypto and other investment topics, please subscribe to the channel. If you like the content, then hit that like button as well. Let's get going. As always, the disclaimer is I am not a financial advisor, nor do I give financial advice. So today, what we're going to do is we're going to look at this past week, in particular, all of the massive drops that we've had, and have some sort of a backdrop on something we can look back on in the future in preparation to actually, instead of worrying so much, to take advantage of it and maybe even plan for it. So what I did here was I loaded up the chart from yesterday, which was Sunday, and you can see most everything was red. And of course, if you're looking and following prices, they are substantially lower than they were several weeks ago. Most of them have bounced back this morning. They're just it looks as though we're really heading into some nice territory. But what I'd like to focus on is planning for the next time this happens, because this is going to happen again. It's going to happen over and over again. Markets work in cycles. Things go up and things go down. And it's nice to have some sort of a plan for when they do go down so that you're prepared and can actually benefit from it. So we were looking in the news and Ethereum dropped below 2,000. It's already back above. Bitcoin 30,000, far below what it was at its all-time high just several months ago. And of course, all the altcoins dropped major double-digit percentages, and it just affected everybody's portfolio. Not only that, all the companies that have invested heavily into Bitcoin, such as MicroStrategies and Tesla to some extent, were hit as well, because the value of Bitcoin plays on their books, especially MicroStrategy. So obviously the value of the stock is going to go down. But it's not all bad news. So think about the percentage drops that we've had on all of these different coins. There's a lot of great bargains to be had. Remember, it's always a good idea to take profits as you go higher and higher in price when things are in a bull market and things are going well. Not only so that you can register profits, but so you have dry powder on the sidelines. You have extra money that's sitting in cash or stable coins that you can use to buy into something that has dropped drastically. Or in this case, when everything drops drastically, you can go on a virtual shopping spree. Everything's on sale. As it was yesterday, it's still pretty low today, so you could actually get in and get some great deals today. Can you imagine when Cardano was at 250? It's at what, 150 today, 148 today? Pick it up and you've got a long way to go. So there's still a lot of bargains to be had, even as we start our recovery. Of course, you want to buy low and sell high. So when there's a big dip or a market correction, that's the time to get in and buy. Last year, March 2020, when the pandemic started, everything crashed to the earth. That was the best time to be buying in because, first of all, nobody was buying and the prices were absolutely fantastic. So the point I'm trying to make is that if you plan for such events, which are inevitable, these will happen. There'll always be corrections in the market. And if you can plan for them, and I'll show you how to execute that plan, you can benefit greatly. In addition to identifying, what I did was I identified some specific coins that were, well, they were all hit hard, but I just identified some specific coins and projects that looked interesting. And some of them I'm already invested in, and put together a plan for actually making money off of these. In addition, we have some longer term hold situations too. So let's go shopping. All right, don't be scared. This is a very clear chart. So if you look on the left-hand side, and you can set this up for yourself based on your own portfolio and start adding projects to the column where it says assets, so that you can actually have a longer list of than what I have here. And when you can also have add a column that says, buy price. So when a coin or a project has dropped below a certain price, then you want to say, oh, well, this is the price that I set that I want to go in and buy it at. You can go in and start buying it, maybe cost average in going up a little bit, and then sell as it goes up as well, so you can make profits along the way. So let's just do an example here. what I did was I looked at bargains to be had with some pretty major names. There's not, I don't think there's anything, no, there's nothing on here that's too crazy. So Bitcoin, Ethereum, Cardano. And I took the price as of yesterday, which you can see in the second column. And then I added the all-time high price. Now, sometimes all-time high prices are skewed. So for example, Bitcoin Cash, if you look here, that's not really the all-time high. That was on a different exchange. But the all-time high for Bitcoin Cash is over 10,000, which I threw that out and just went with some sort of a exchange average, which was somewhere right around 5,000. But you can tell that that's pretty heavily skewed. So for example, when you look at those, you may want to adjust the percentages that you're dealing with on this sheet just to account for that. But for the most part, I kept everything fairly accurate. So let's just use Bitcoin as our example. So the current price, or as of yesterday, was about $33,000. The all-time high was $65,000. What you want to do is you want to, when it's down low and you're looking towards the higher all-time high price, you want to ride that price rise up. So as the price of Bitcoin goes back up toward this all-time high, you want to sell off what you bought in at the bottom. So yesterday, pretend, or today, you buy in a bunch of Bitcoin at $33,000. That's a pretty nice cost in. So when you start to see the price go up and you have your price already in there, you can start to sell off your Bitcoin and take your profits along the way up. So the first sell price would be $39,360. That's about 20% of what you own. And you can see there's a first sell price, second, and third, and then the final column is a hold. And the reason I put a hold in there is because these projects are all good projects. These are all projects that I would invest in long term. However, I'm not going to sit around and wait for everything to go to its all-time high or the highest point I think it's going to be and sell it all at one time. Not because that's not the best way to make money, or make the most money, I should say, because it is. If you sell everything at the highest price possible, you're going to make more money than if you sell 20% at $40,000, another 25% at $30,000. But money in your pocket is a lot better than money that you may not ever see, which happens. I mean, I'm almost there. It's almost to the top, and then it crashes down and you don't make anything. You have to wait for the next trip up. It's a horrible thing to do. So the plan is to identify bargains. You identify projects you feel good about that have significantly dropped in price, like all of these. You want to look at their all-time highs to see what their potential is. So for example, Cardano's $1.16. Well, its all-time high just a week or so ago was $2.46. That's a pretty nice ride up. If you buy in at the $1.16 and you start selling at different percentages, so when there's a 20% gain in price, you sell off. When there's a 30, I think the second one's 35% sell off. Actually, all these, the price, as the prices go up, you sell a certain percentage of what you hold. So the first sell is 20%, the second sell is 35%, and the final sell is 25%. So as you move up, you'll have 20% left over, and you just hold that long term. If you don't want to, you can sell that out at any point in time. But in my philosophy, I want to try to stay in the market for long-term gains as well, because in all actuality, Bitcoin, in my mind, is going to go up very high, well over $100,000, $200,000, $400,000. So I want to be in the game no matter what. The same holds true for Ethereum. Even though it had a massive correction, it will bounce back fairly quickly, and it's not going to go to zero. It's going to keep going up and establish higher lows along the way. So I never want to be out of it completely. I always want to have my foot in the door so that I'm included in those gains all the way up to the very, very top. And if you have 20% of your portfolio basically in long-term holdings, that's kind of a good diversification for good times and bad times. But as we can see here, when you plan for corrections, you can really put together something solid to execute that makes sense to make money on the way up. And let's say that you make money all the way up and you've cashed everything out except for the 20% you're holding, and then the market crashes again. Well, no surprise, because it's going to crash again. you start all over, rinse and repeat, rinse and repeat, rinse and repeat. Now you're making money every single time there's a bear market. What are you looking forward to now? Bear markets. Why? Because there's bargains to be had. You can buy in and make money all the way up. So this is a great way to take a very negative situation and put a very positive spin on it. But you have to plan for it. You have to have that dry powder on the sidelines ready to buy up these projects. And you have to have a prudent method of pruning your profits on the way up so that you're not just looking for the all-time high to sell at. You're making money along the way, so you continually add to your dry powder on the sideline, which allows you the ability to buy those bargains. So this is a wonderful plan that will help you establish a bear market strategy that will continually make you money throughout a bear and bull market. So let's do just a little recap here. Remember, times like these are what make times like green candles and wonderful, I think, put puppies here and kittens and whatnot, and rainbows, seem so wonderful, because in the deepest, darkest moments, you can always take solace in knowing that there's a silver lining, either now, if you've planned correctly, or the fact that markets do go back up. So just wait long enough and you will make your money back. Never, it's not financial advice, but please never sell when there's a dip. That's not the right time to be selling. You want to just hold on to it and let it go up. Even though we're working through a horrible time, there is the silver lining, which we talked about. We want to take this as a lesson learned and try to plan for the next one. Take profits along the way as prices are going up. Even if you're currently holding, you didn't get in. When you start to make money again, when you start to get to price levels in these assets that are profitable, take a little bit off the table so you have some dry powder for the next correction. And again, we will have them. We looked at a table that kind of detailed out how you can take a basket full of assets, examine their drop in the market and their potential profitability based on all-time highs, and put together a buying strategy at a low price and then selling those assets off as their price goes up by 20, then 35, then 25%, and then holding a little bit so that you're always in the game looking at future gains for these projects. And I can't emphasize enough that getting on board with things like Dogecoin or something that's very speculative is an interesting thing to do. And I'm not saying it's not a good thing to do, because a lot of people have made money, but far more people have lost money doing it. And you could certainly throw your hat into the ring, but I would definitely just use a small percentage of your investment capital for something like that, because the risk is very high. The reward can be high, but you don't want to tie up your money in projects that have no functional value. And Doge has no functional value at all. So something like Ethereum, which is a foundation for dApp applications all over the world, that's something that you can say, oh, I really do believe in that, because that's how everything's going to be built. A Cardano, well, it's going to be running Africa. Whatever you may think for any of these projects, always have a good background story to understand the value of that coin, and try to invest in ones that have the potential. And I always look for some long shot gainers, and maybe put something like 10% in a fund for those, just in case I happen to hit something like Charlie 3, which is the new oracle that's going to be on the Cardano blockchain. I threw a little bit of money in there because apparently that's going to be a big deal. So I'm looking forward to making money with that. But you choose your projects based on your research and what you hear from other folks doing their research, and you should be pretty good off, well off. Leave a comment below and let me know what you think about this strategy. If you have any augments to it, if you think it should be changed in any way, what would you do? Is it something that you would be interested in using in the future, and to help you with dealing with the rough times and getting through them and actually turning a bad situation into a good one? I'd love to hear from you. And remember, stay strong. It's already turning around, and it's going to do nothing but get better. And last but not least, winners never quit. Quitters never win. Always give your very best effort to overcome the challenges that you face in life. I hope you have a great day. I'm planning on having a great day, and I will see you tomorrow.